What's up, it's Jan back at it again with another nerdy bookish video. This is gonna be my most anticipated releases for November 2022. First of all, sorry for the glare. I have had like a bloodshot a bloodshot right eye all day, and I think it's because of my contacts, so I have to wear glasses and I feel like filming tonight, so sorry for that. So it is November 4th. This is being filmed very late. Half of these books are already out. They came out on the 1st, but in case y'all haven't heard of them yet, here they are. I have 13 books on this list. If y'all are new here, I use Goodreads as my lovely little assistant to help me with the synopses. That's why I have my phone with me. We're just gonna start because I'm starving and I gotta go to my mom's for dinner because I have no food here. That never happens in my videos. I see it happen to all my friends' videos, like ambulances always drive by, but usually mine are like yelling children or barking dogs or my haunted toilet. Anyway, so these first few came out on November 1st. This video will probably be up, I'm hoping before the 10th, so you still have an ample amount of time to anticipate some of these books, but a lot of these did come out on the 1st. So the first one I want to talk about is The Cloisters by Katy Hayes. So this is like my #1 most anticipated on this list. Like there's no ranking for any of the other ones, but this is my #1. I said this in my November TBR, but I obsessed over getting my hands on this book for like an hour after I realized I forgot to look at the add-ons on Book of the Month when I was choosing my books, and this one was one of them, and I was so mad because I put this on this list like whenever I heard about it, like a month ago or two or whatever, and it's right up my alley. It's set in the art museum in New York. There's tarot card magic. It's pitched as The Secret History meets Ninth House, and it just seems like the writing is gonna be so good. It's gotten raving reviews so far, so I'm super excited for this. I obsessed about it, reached out to publishers and entered giveaways for this book, and finally Atrio Books said they'll just send it to me, so I'm hoping that gets to me soon because I will literally drop everything and read it. It has all my favorite things. The Secret History and Ninth House are on my favorite shelf. Like they're 2 of my all-time favorite books, so this is just everything. I'm so excited. The cover is stunning. It's a debut novel, so I'm super excited to see what this author can bring. The next book that comes out on the 1st is Someday Maybe. I don't remember the author's name. I think their first name is Onyi. This one was my November Book of the Month pick. I actually am gonna pick that up from my mom's house after this video, but it is there. But this is the cover. I don't have it physically just yet. This one I chose because I want my heart to shatter. I want to sob. This is a story about a woman navigating life without her husband, as her husband took his own life. I believe it was on New Year's Eve. That is just, I can't even fathom. If you know me, in books and movies, in real life, anytime someone loses a significant other, that is just like earth-shattering to me, and I cry every time in movies and books, more than if I read or watched like a parent die. The only death that would match up to that is if a pet dies. I don't know what it is about those two things in books and movies, but like Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid, whoo, my god. Haven't read that yet, do it. This one is by a Black author, and I believe it's also a debut novel. I'm ready. I'm ready to cry until my eyes fall out of my head. The next book I want to talk about is the sequel to The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. Fun fact, this is the first book that I've ever annotated, or not even annotated, I didn't write in books yet, but the first book that I ever tabbed, so it holds a special place in my heart. I gave the first book 3 stars. I thought it dragged on a lot, but because of the sentimental value, I do want to read the sequel. It was a cool concept. It's basically personified New York boroughs, so basically like Manhattan is this man named Manny. Brooklyn was this Black woman who was like super into music. All these characters, these boroughs come together. Am I saying that right? Boroughs? Boroughs? Boroughs. Boroughs? All of them come together and they go on this mission to do this thing, and it was very well written. I tabbed the shit out of it, so yeah, N.K. Jemisin is a phenomenal writer, as everyone here probably knows. But yeah, the sequel came out on November 1st. I'll read it eventually. Probably, definitely not this month. If the hype is there, then I'll pick it up sometime next year. I am excited for that release. Another book that came out on the 1st is called The Luminaries. I forgot what the author's name was. guys. Susan Dennard. This is a contemporary fantasy about the magic it takes to face your fears in a nightmare-filled forest and the mettle required, mettle that's M-E-T-T-L-E, which I had to look up the first time I read the synopsis, required to face the secrets hiding in the dark corners of your own family. Hemlock Falls isn't like other towns. It's not like other towns, y'all. Winnie Wednesday wants nothing more than to join the Luminaries, the ancient order that protects Winnie's town and the rest of humanity from the monsters and nightmares that rise in the forest of Hemlock Falls every night. Dude, books that have creepy forests always freak me out, so I'm super excited for this. Love the cover. I feel like the writing is gonna be really good. I feel like it's gonna be kind of whimsical, kind of creepy, eerie because of the forest with all your, you know, fears and nightmares. I think that's such a cool concept too. The next book that came out on the 1st, I actually have an arc for, called She's Gone by David Bell. Thank you so much to Sourcebooks Fire for sending me this. So this is a YA thriller. 17-year-old Hunter Gifford wakes up in the hospital on the night of homecoming. He's shocked to learn that he and his girlfriend Chloe Summers have been in a terrible car accident. He has no memory of the crash. His shock turns to horror when he is told Chloe's blood has been found in the car, but she has disappeared. Back at school, his fellow students taunt him, and his former best friend starts making a true crime documentary about the case, one that points a finger directly at Hunter. And just when things can't get any worse, Chloe's mother stands in front of the entire town at a candlelight vigil and accuses Hunter of murder. Hunter takes matters into his own hands by questioning anyone who might know the truth. When Hunter learns he and Chloe were seen arguing loudly outside the dance, he faces a sickening possibility. Was he angry enough to kill the person he loved? Wow. That's the first time I read that synopsis like without skimming it. I'm intrigued now. And these chapters are so short. I feel like this will go by super quickly, so I feel like this is one of those where I wouldn't put it on a TBR. I would just kind of grab it if I'm in the mood for this type of book. Sounds really good. Something about like school dances being in the synopsis of a book, minus The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. I knew prom was involved, obviously, because it's a Carrie retelling, but like when I see Homecoming, it just turns me off. But this, I'll give this one a shot. Another one that I have the physical book for that I got on November 1st from the library. My hold was the first one, apparently. A Very Merry Bromance by Lyssa K. Adams. Is this the 5th book of the Bromance Book Club series? I've read all of them so far. I've read all of them audibly. I think the 3rd one I listened to and followed along, but I think I'm gonna read this one physically. This is the only Christmas romance book I've ever been excited for, I think. I think I was slightly excited for, no, not even. I was gonna say I was slightly excited for One Day in December, but I just picked that up on a whim and I ended up liking it. But I wasn't like anticipating it. But this, the Bromance Book Club, is one of my all-time favorite romance series. It's so good. It's about this Major League Baseball team who start a romance book club to help fix their own love lives, and it's just so good. Love all the characters. My favorite ones were the 1st one and I believe the 4th one. I'm not one to get in the Christmas spirit until like the week of Christmas, if that, but this year I'm actually pretty excited because I don't know, Joey and I feel the same way. Like we're usually not excited until this year. I don't know, it's probably because we found each other, you know, whatever, cheesy. Okay, bye. The next book I want to talk about that came out on the 1st is called Cruel Illusions, and this is a vampire story, and that's all I needed to know, but I'll search the synopsis for y'all anyway. It says Carval meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so I know a few people who would be interested in this. 512 pages, Jesus. It's a dark young adult fantasy about a girl who makes a deal with a magical secret society to enter a potentially deadly competition. Wow, I can't talk. For the chance to avenge her mother's death. Ever since a vampire murdered her mother, Ava has been determined to get revenge. Love a revenge story, love a vampire story. I'm so excited. It's been 10 years since anyone's seen a vampire until she stumbles across a hidden magic show where she witnesses impossible illusions. The magicians may not be the bloodsuckers she's hunting, but Ava is convinced something supernatural is at play, so she sneaks backstage and catches them in acts they can't explain. And they've been waiting for her. If she wants to keep the power they offer, she needs to prove she's worthy of it. To do so, she must put on the performance of her life in a sinister and dangerous competition where illusion and reality blur and the stakes are deadly. Magicians meets vampires in a revenge story. Sounds really good, and the cover is stunning. So the next one is called The Ones We Burn by Rebecca Mix. This is a witchy book. Ranka is tired of death. All she wants now is to be left alone, same, living out her days in Witchick's wild north with the coven that raised her, attempting to forget the horrors of her past. But when she is named Bloodwind, the next treaty bride to the human kingdom of Isidal, her coven sends her south with a single directive: kill him. Easy enough for a blood witch whose magic compels her to kill. Except the prince is gentle, kind, and terrified of her. Oh, a cinnamon roll! He doesn't want to marry Ranka, he doesn't want to be king at all, and it's his sister, the wickedly smart, infuriatingly beautiful Princess Aramis, who seems to be the real threat. Witches start turning up dead, murdered by a mysterious magical plague. Oh god, not a plague. Ranka's forced to question everything she thought she knew about her power, her past, and and who she's meant to fight for. Soon she'll have to decide between the coven that raised her and the princess who sees beyond the monster they shaped her to be. Okay, it's the typical character has to make decisions that are like pretty high stakes. Love that trope, and I love the witchiness, so I think that's why I put it on there. The Wicked Remain by Laura Pohl. This is the second book to the Grimrose girls. If y'all have been here a while, you know that was quite the disappointment. I had a copy of the book, but I think I sold it, question mark. It was so mediocre. It was 3 stars for me. I read it in 24 hours. It was just not what I thought it was gonna be, but for some reason I still want to read the sequel because the author did a good job of diversifying the characters and giving each one a distinct personality, which is usually difficult for like, books that have all the same like age demographic, all the same types of characters, you know. And there were like, I don't know, 6 girls maybe. They were diverse in nationality, body type, gender, sexuality. It was a very diverse book, and I loved everyone's like uniqueness, I guess. Everyone had their own interests. I liked that aspect, but the whole like fairy tale based murders part of it disappointed me. That's that. That also came out on the 1st. I'm not in any rush to read it, but I'm still kind of excited to read it eventually. And I love that cover, the teal. That stands out so well. Another book that came out on the 1st is called Sugaring Off. It says this is for fans of Mindy McGinnis and Courtney Summers. It's a YA thriller. So the main character is partially deaf because of an early childhood tragedy. Her name's Owl. At 17, she's now a tracker, an explorer, a wildlife enthusiast, and always her freest self while hiking the steep forested acres surrounding her aunt and uncle's maple sugar farm, now her home. She's always been sheltered. She's partially deaf, so everyone who's raised her has been super overprotective, and she hasn't lived her life fully. And then she meets this guy who opens up her world, opens her eyes, and shows her that there's more to life than what she's been experiencing. So his name is Cody. Cody seems to see her, the real her, in a way no one else does, and then she learns parts of Cody that are darker, and secrets he's hiding, things like that. So I'm excited about this one, and that cover is just everything, and the flowers, or the leaves, sorry, those are leaves, whatever, the plant thing is like covering, you know, one side of her head because she's partially deaf. The symbolism, love it. On November 15th, we have I Told You This Already by Lauren Graham. If you didn't know, Lauren Graham is Laura-Lea Gilmore from the Gilmore Girls, my favorite show ever. This is her new nonfiction book. I have no idea what she actually talks about in it, but I love Talking as Fast as I Can by her, which is her other nonfiction. It says on the title, Stories I Don't Want to Forget to Remember. And I just love her personality, her writing. I hope I could get the audiobook for this. I love her voice. It says, filled with surprising anecdotes, sage advice, and laugh out loud observations. All new original essay showcases the winning charm and wit that she's known for. That's exciting. And then the last 2 books I want to talk about come out on November 29th. A Wilderness of Stars by Shea Earnshaw. I think y'all know by now that I love Shea Earnshaw's writing. I've read A History of Wild Places and Long Live the Pumpkin Queen. I loved Long Live the Pumpkin Queen, and I love the writing of A History of Wild Places. I think I gave it a high 3 though. I don't remember. Maybe a 4? Every time this toilet has to speak while I film. But yeah, and I'm gonna be reading The Wicked Deep this month for Jodie's book club. An illness cursing the land, oh god, not a nod to COVID, forces a teen girl astronomer to venture across the wilderness in search of the star's message that will hopefully save them all. The magic is in the stars in this book. Vega is rescued by a girl named Cricket who leads her to Noah, a boy marked by his own mysterious tattoos. On the run from the men who are hunting her, Vega, Cricket, and Noah set out across the plains in search of the cure the stars speak of. Okay, now that I'm reading this, I wouldn't be excited for this if it weren't for Shea Earnshaw. Let's hope it's good. It has a lot of high reviews so far. I also still have to read Winterwood. And then the very last book I want to talk about is Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. This is the author of the Atlas 6 and the Atlas Paradox. This is going to be a reprint because it was previously indie published and I didn't get my hands on indie copy, unfortunately. This I heard about first from my friend Issa from Ray or Shine here on BookTube. She said the writing is phenomenal. She said I would love it. She said it has a lot of really good quotes that are gonna stick with me. It's set in Chicago in the Art Institute. 2 people meet. He's a doctoral student who manages his destructive thoughts with compulsive calculations about time travel. She is a bipolar counterfeit artist undergoing court-ordered psychotherapy. Oh my god. I love that. See, I love books with characters that have, like I said, like very distinct personalities, their own interests, their own little quirks, their own struggles, have a whole background story, like their profile is very intricate. That is the phrase I was looking for. Their profile is was very intricate. So that just sounds like a really good time. I'm curious to know what the bees on the cover mean. A pretty short book, so I'm hoping I love it. I did really enjoy the Atlas 6. It just wasn't the 5-star book that I was hoping for because it was so dense and it took me forever, but at the end of the day, the writing, impeccable, character development, I loved it. She's a very talented writer, so I'm excited for that. And those are all of them. Let me know if you're excited for any of these books as well. Sorry again for this video being up pretty late, whatever that means, you know, after the first release date. If you made it to the end of this video, let's put a bee emoji in the comments down below to represent Alone with You in the Ether. Thank you so much for watching. Hope y'all had a great day. Stay safe, stay positive, and stay spooky always, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye!